Welcome to our presentation titled Starting a Support Group, brought to you by the Center for Autism and Related Disabilities, CARD, at the University of South Florida. What is a support group? A support group is a setting where individuals who share common life situations, experiences, and challenges can come together. A support group provides a place to socialize, connect, and network, and can help reduce the feelings of isolation and loneliness because support groups provide an opportunity for people to come together to share their lived experiences, to help others who are going through similar challenges, to share ideas, resources, frustrations, and successes, and to learn new skills, to set new goals, and develop leadership and advocacy skills. So how do we start a support group? To begin, you will want to find a small group of individuals who are willing to assist you in starting your support group. This core group of individuals will work with you to do the initial planning. There's a lot of preparation to be done even before you recruit new members or host your first meeting. So having one or two individuals to share the workload with will help you stay motivated and follow through with your plan. If you don't have an inner group of people who are interested in getting involved, you could check with your local organizations to see if they will let you post a flyer in their building and or in their social media platforms. For example, if you're looking to start a parent support group, you could reach out to any of our CARD centers in your area, the Early Steps and Child Find programs, pediatrician officers, ESC specialists, and or school counselors or social workers at your local schools with whom you could share your interest in creating this group, as well as your contact information and any flyers that you may have developed. Similarly, if you're interested in starting a, let's say, young females with autism support group, you could reach out to ESC teachers and specialists, social workers, and school psychologists at your local high schools. Also, you could reach out to disability officers at the university or college level, as well as any other local organization that serves this group of individuals, to include CARD. Once you have this core group of individuals, you will want to meet to start planning some important details of the group. For example, you will need to decide who will be the main contact person for the group. The main contact person will have to be able to answer questions which potential new members may have. Hence, the main contact person should have good communication skills to be able to help people feel welcome and comfortable when joining the group. Keep in mind that the main contact person may need to do this role only in the beginning stages, as later on, you will want to share this responsibility as well as other leadership roles with the other members of the group to keep everyone engaged. The next thing your core group will have to figure out is the logistic for your first few meetings, including where you will meet, when, and for how long. You will also have to decide how you will recruit new members. Once you have identified your core group of leaders, discuss, define, and develop the group's mission and vision statements. A mission statement is a statement that defines the group's purpose for being in existence, its goals, and how progress towards meeting those goals will be measured. A vision statement is a statement that identifies the human value that your work helps to address. This is an emotional and compelling statement. Both of these statements are going to help people make the decision to join or not your support group. Put in another form, these statements will help the group identify individuals who are a good match for the group, since their acceptance of these statements is a good indication that they share the same values as other members of the group. So where can you hold your first meetings? For starters, you may want to meet at someone's home, a local coffee shop, a restaurant, library, or even at a public park. Since the group will start out as being small, you need not worry about finding a permanent space. Any of these places will do at the beginning. However, once you start to grow, you're going to want to start looking out for a more permanent meeting space for your group. Finding a meeting space can sometimes be tricky. Some of the key things that you want to look for in a potential permanent meeting place are a space that is comfortable and allows for some privacy. Group members will be sharing personal information about their lived experiences, so you want to make sure that their privacy is protected. The meeting place should also be accessible for all members. That is, the location of the place, whenever possible, should be accessible by public transportation, as this may be the primary means of community travel that members utilize. Access to a main road will ensure that public transportation is available and that new members can find the location easily on their first few visits. Physically, the location should also be wheelchair accessible so that people with physical disabilities who may wish to join the group can have access to inside and outside and within the center or the location. The place should also have enough space for multiple small group activities to occur at the same time. Very importantly, the location should allow the group to bring in drinks and snacks so you can socialize. So how do we recruit new members? Recruiting new members is not as easy as it sounds. Word of mouth is often how you get new members. So marketing the group, letting people know that your group is in existence out there is extremely important. Be sure to include the following information on any of the flyers that you develop for your group: the name of your group, the contact person's name and phone number, the location and duration of meetings, and very importantly, the group's mission and vision. Be sure to advertise at local community mental health organizations, schools, and community newsletters, parent organizations, as they already have, they're plugged into the community and will likely know who to contact to share your information. Consider hosting an informal booth or table at a local information fair or in a community event. Planning the first group meeting, as previously discussed, before your first meeting, you and your core group will want to come up with the group's basic goals, the values, and the overall purpose of your group. In other words, the mission and the vision of the group. You should also take time to consider the following. How will leadership be decided? How will leadership be shared? Will you have elections? What will the elections look like? How frequent will elections take place? How are new members going to get involved? What will be the process for membership, for signing up? Will members be required or encouraged to sign up for subcommittees or to host a meeting or event? What will the structure of the group meetings be like? What is the frequency of the meetings, the agenda format? Will there be a request process to add topics to the agenda? If so, what will that process look like? Types of activities that will take place at the meetings. Something to keep in mind as you meet with your core group to plan the first meetings or first few meetings is that these decisions may change over time as you receive input from the larger group. However, You will want to have some basic ideas in place so that you're able to share them with your prospective new members at your first gathering. And so the format of the group can begin to take shape from day one. The group will seem organized and prepared, which will give a good impression to the potential new members. Holding the first group meeting. Start by welcoming everyone, introducing yourself and the core group. Then describe the reason for creating the group and what you'll hope it will provide for members. Be sure to share the group's mission and vision. Next, take the time to have everyone introduce themselves. To help people with their introductions, post a listing of what you would like them to share. This post should be large and visible for everyone to follow as they start to introduce themselves. The list could include things such as their name, their profession, or the skills that could benefit the group, where they live, the reason for coming to the meeting, what they hope to get out of the group, etc. Tips for making your first meeting a success. Be sure to focus on making it welcoming. Don't pressure anyone to do anything at the first few meetings. Use this opportunity for people to get involved and contributing by having a sign-up sheet. Encourage participants to leave their contact information in the sign-up sheet. You should provide information as to how they can contribute their talents or skills to the group. Have suggestion boxes and encourage participants to share ideas about what they would like to get out of the group. Example, do they want to focus on policy and advocacy? Would they like to build their skills through the group? Would they like to provide, for the group to provide adult time, respite from the responsibilities? Make it fun and inviting so people will want to come back every week or however often you decide to meet. Some things that can or should be decided by the larger group include the best days for meetings based on the member pool, the length of the meetings, the structure of the meetings, the types of activities you want to offer, the ground rules for the group. It is very important that you take the time as a group to create the ground rules by which the members of the group will adhere. Creating the rules as a team will enhance members' buy-in as they will have a sense of having been a part of creating the rules rather than having been recipients of imposed rules. These rules will provide a safe environment for everyone. Tip: it is helpful to create with your core group a few examples of ground rules in advance so that you're able to share starter ideas during the ground rule activity with the whole group. For example, consider using confidentiality or respect as examples of what a ground rule could look like, keeping in mind that what you're doing is sharing an example rather than imposing a rule. If you use a good example, however, don't be surprised if the group wants to keep the rule. For example, we will refrain from judging or criticizing others. Could be an example rule. It is also always a good idea to allow people to pass during discussion or any discussion in general. You will want to allow people to comment or not comment. Remember that some people do not feel comfortable sharing out loud. Encourage people to add their suggestion to the suggestion box to fix this problem. This will provide an outlet for members who are too shy to share out loud, but who do have ideas to share. Some ideas for activities that you can incorporate in your meetings include educational or informational opportunities, such as guest lectures and trainings on special topics, example, special needs trust, how to write a resume, interview skills, self-advocacy, etc. For these particular activities, you may want to reach out to experts in the community who can come and provide a lecture or a training for the group. You could also provide structured discussions and open support group time, game night, potluck dinners and movies and book nights, social events and outings, and decide how often you will have these special events or outings or this trainings or the structured discussions. Do you want to do these activities at every meeting or once a month, every other meeting? Those are some of the decisions that you will have to make as a larger group. Some of the tips on how to structure your group meetings. The first thing is to have a plan. Offer variety by incorporating learning, free discussion, art-related activities such as storytelling, poetry, music, etc. You also want to stay organized and on task at every meeting. Start and end on time, begin and end with an important announcements, for example, and consider having an opening and a closing activity, such as starting a community building activity like show and tell. Tell us about something exciting that happened to you or your family since we last met, for example. And by reciting a group created mantra or saying, for example, one for all for one, the Three Musketeers saying, whatever your group decides will be the mantra for the group or the saying for the group. Or maybe it's another type of activity that you want to do to close. Maybe in the closing, you want to share your goals for the following meeting. You will have to decide those things as a group. Maybe you can end the meeting by picking out a little piece of paper from a hat, so to speak, with the name of the members in attendance to see who is going to lead the meeting next week, for example. This will give everyone an opportunity to play a part, an active role in the meetings, and to be put in a position of leadership equally. You will want to also have an agenda and a list of discussion topics. This can be topics that are previously chosen by the group members. Give people the chance to participate at every meeting. Give choices and alternate means of engagement. For example, the suggestion boxes. What I wanted to say boxes, for example. Mix up the structure even during discussion times. Make time for fun and laughter. Share the workload with other group members. This will not only keep any one member from having the responsibility of running or keep running the organization or the group, but also it will enable all members to take on the responsibility, which will enhance their sense of ownership and belonging to the group. Support groups work best when everyone involved feels ownership and responsibility for the group. It is often easy to get caught in the trap of doing all the work yourself. But if you can find a way to have everyone who wants to have a meaningful role in the group, it will be much more successful. What to do if your group gets into a rut? And as a result, membership drops off or members seem less satisfied with the meetings. Some tips to keep your group fresh include: keep the meetings productive, accomplish the group set out to accomplish, i.e., the mission and vision of the group. Maintain balance between activities, discussion, and learning opportunities. It cannot be all work and no play, right? Be sure to take time to have fun. Start a group, baseball, dance, sports, gaming, anything else, team, right? Invite other support groups to start their own teams also, if they don't already have one, so that you can have team competitions, have fun, and build relationships in the community. Don't let the meetings turn into complaint sessions. This is a big turnoff for a lot of people. They want a place where they can be lifted up, not put down by negativity. Also, seek balance in your own participation. Allowing others to shine will keep everyone from coming to you as the expert in the group. It will also widen the support network for participants. It will give members a sense of ownership for the group and a sense of pride. It will create positive feelings among members, which will make them want to continue coming to the meetings. It will also allow for future leaders to develop. Sustainability, or how to keep the group going over time, is another challenge. Despite our best efforts and member satisfaction, life situations occur which may pull members away. For example, people may move, their circumstances change, and their availability to continue participating in the group may change. Make plans to replace parents who move away by continuing to recruit and welcoming new members actively, by growing new leaders within the group, and by alternating roles and leadership within the group. This will ensure that the group can remain operational even when group leaders and/or members move on. Funding can also become an issue as your group grows. One way to help is to involve group members in assisting with issues of funding. For example, members of the group can be active in identifying and developing community relationships and partnerships in the community. This community champions believe and commit to support your group in some form or fashion. For example, they may decide to provide one-time financial support, say to pay for team uniforms, or maybe they wish to donate their venue for one group event, or maybe your social event or fundraising event. You may also want to look into finding and writing small grants to help fund group activities. That brings us to the end of our presentation. But I just wanted to say that be sure to plan regarding how to handle group conflict. You can be assured that somewhere along the way, your group will experience conflict or other barriers that you will have to navigate. Some common conflicts that come up in support groups include members who dominate the group or discussions, conflict between certain members and people who are always negative and like to complain about everything. Some tips to handle these situations include being sure to review the group's ground rules often. Keeping the ground rules to only a few, but very important rules, will allow you to be able to review them at the beginning of every meeting, for example, to help keep them fresh in everyone's minds. When conflicts occur, start by openly acknowledging that there is a problem. You may do this in a one-on-one basis if it involves just one individual. However, if there is a group conflict happening, you will want to address it openly and carefully right at the moment. You could start by just saying, it looks like we're having a bit of a conflict here. Then you could go on to explain that conflict is natural and it can be positive. as conflict can be an opportunity for the group to grow. Then you can take the opportunity for the group to try to work out the problem as a group. In other words, to take ownership of the problem. People are passionate about issues of parenting and often have views about other things that services that are provided or the lack of services being provided, etc. So discussions about these types of issues can often bring up differing views and occasionally some conflict. Therefore, it is important to periodically talk about the fact that we're all individuals with different experiences, values, and backgrounds, and that we can all learn from one another, even when we disagree. Remember to remain neutral and never take sides during conflicts. I hope this presentation has been useful to you, and be sure to contact us should you have any questions or suggestions. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.